Hi everybody, my name is Diedrick. I co-lead the 200-hour teacher trainings here at Sangha Studio, and right now we are in training and we're in the midst of looking at our vinyasas. So today I'll walk you through how to refine your vinyasa, specifically Chaturanga, and then transitioning into either Cobra or upward facing dog. And my intention for refining this vinyasa is to help you look at how to stabilize the shoulder so you're moving through your vinyasa in a really safe, strong, and stable way. So, to help us demonstrate our Chaturanga today and our vinyasa, we have the lovely Abby who's going to demo for us. And the great thing about that is I'll be able to point out common patterns in the vinyasa and how to remedy them. So I'm going to have you come into downward facing dog to start. So in downward facing dog, just take a few breaths to settle, to feel both your strength and also this spaciousness. So what I'll have you do, Abby, is lift your heels nice and high, and then pull up the front of your thighs so you're engaging your quadriceps. Yeah, and then notice how her pelvis tilted forward a little bit. So keep all of that and then soften your heels back down toward the ground. Awesome. Inhale forward into your high plank pose, and let's start with plank because plank pose is a setup for your Chaturanga Dandasana. So as you can see, she's pretty much in one line. There's a little bit of a diagonal, but everything here is working in the body. So she's hugging muscle to bone, inner thighs are lifting up, and then she's engaging the belly. Okay, and then go ahead and lower your knees here. A common thing that happens, so I'm going to move you through a modified Chaturanga with knees down, and you'll notice when you do it really well, it's just as hard and strong. So what tends to happen is the first pattern is the shoulders dip too far below the elbows. So can you demo that? So notice here, even a little bit more, the head of the shoulder is below the elbow, and that doesn't feel good. So press back up. Okay, another thing that happens is when we come down, we lose engagement in the front body. So notice the hips sag, the belly sags, and then that puts a lot of pressure on the lower back. So I'll have you come back into down dog and just reset. So again, two common patterns are the shoulders dip too low, which takes the stability out of our shoulder joint. And then we lose belly engagement, which puts a lot of load on the lower back. So we're going to look at both of those separately. So Abby's going to come back into plank, and I'll have you bring your knees down again. So in order to stabilize the shoulder, we're going to do a couple of actions. She's going to pull her hands back toward her hips, and that just opened up the chest. And then she'll plug her outer armpits toward her waist. So her side body and her rotator cuff muscles, all of the muscles that stabilize the shoulder are working, okay? And then lastly, she'll draw her belly in, so she's really strong, and then start to lower slowly. Now what I want her to do is either keep her shoulder above the elbow or at the same level as the elbow. So see that? Then the shoulder is nice and happy, and her external rotators are working. Okay, now come all the way down, come all the way down. Woo, strong. Okay, and then she'll lift up into Cobra. Take an inhale. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Okay. So I'll go over those actions again, but to reiterate, when you stabilize the shoulder in that way, you're using your external rotator muscles, all of the rotator cuff muscles around the shoulder joint. Those are working, which means they keep the arm bone in the shoulder socket. So everything is nice and stable and secure. Okay, and once you have that, you're already setting yourself up for your Cobra pose. Okay, so now I'll go through those actions again and then show how she can easily come into Cobra from there. So I'll have Abby come forward again to high plank, lower the knees right below where they are. Okay, and then she's going to broaden the collarbones by tugging her hands back toward her hips. Good, drawing the outer armpits back, plugging them in toward the waist. And then lastly, front body hugs in, front ribs in, belly in, yeah. And then she'll start to lower toward the ground nice and slowly until she feels her triceps and her upper back working. And now she's already set up for Cobra, so she'll lower the pelvis and then inhale into Cobra Pose. Beautiful. Shoulders go back, chest moves forward. Nice. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to take a couple of breaths here. Reset. And you might notice that whether it's lack of arm strength or you just haven't been doing your chaturanga in a certain way, you might want to stick with the knees down variation for a while until you build that really good stable shoulder strength and then an arm strength as well. So don't worry about the knees being up. You're going to get just as strong of a pose with the knees down. When you do find you're ready for full chaturanga, you'll come forward into plank, remembering all of those shoulder actions. Okay, so she plugs her outer armpits back toward her waist by pulling her hands back. The chest is broad. Now she's going to really work to keep the belly hugging in, and then she'll lower with really strong legs and arms. And she can come into up dog or cobra, coming into the back bend, shoulders go back, chest lifts. And then she's going to contract her belly in with the exhale to glide back to downward facing dog. Nice job. Okay. So your chaturanga should feel really hard and stable, but hard in the way that everything's working in harmony. So all of the muscles in the upper back, on the sides of the shoulders, all of those are working together, okay? The shoulder joint is really, really mobile. So in a weight-bearing pose like chaturanga, we really want to be meticulous about that stability and strength. Okay, we'll go through this one more time. So take a deep inhale and downward facing dog. Exhale, let it go. Let's put all of this together. Inhale forward to high plank. Either keep the knees lifted or lower the knees down. Okay, take an inhale here. Send the collarbones forward, the shoulder blades down the back. Good. And then start to lower the elbows. Elbows also hug in toward the ribs. Good. And then inhale into your back bend. Hello. Exhale, downward facing dog. Snap the belly in as you go back. Good. And I'll have her rest in child's pose, a well-deserved rest. Make sure you have time to rest. It's a lot of work. And like I said, when you work in this way with chaturanga in a really skillful way, you might realize, wait, I actually can't do them every time with my knees up because it's just as hard with the knees down. But chaturanga inherently is a really wonderful pose for building strength and stability, and that translates into many, many other aspects of your practice. So if you can do this pose really well, you'll notice progress in your other poses as well. And whether you're a beginner or you've been doing yoga for a really long time, there's always room to refine your chaturanga, especially since we do them with such frequency in our flow classes. So hopefully you can remember that shoulder stability, the core engagement, and you'll be able to do chaturanga for years to come. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.